This is the WQA podcast from the Water Quality Association, the leading voice of the water treatment industry. And hello, I'm your host, Wes Bleed.
My suggestion is just take advantage when it comes up. Some of the best conversations I've had with people are standing in the hallway. You see somebody getting a cup of coffee, you're getting a cup of coffee, you see where they're from, you just kind of strike up that conversation.
That's Jami West of C-Tech Water Solutions during a recent WQA webinar entitled How to Get the Most Out of WQA's Convention, coming up in Orlando, March 5th through the 7th, 2024. And welcome to the WQA Weekly Podcast from the Water Quality Association, promoting better water quality around the world. If you're a first-time listener or viewer, or new to the industry, welcome. We're glad you're here. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss a show. That's the magic of podcasting. And be sure to share the podcast with someone on your team or someone you know. Also, we now feature our podcasts on our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/@WaterQualityAssociationVideos. Check it out. I think you'll like it. In this episode, we feature WQA members Jennifer Smith of Resintech and Jami West, along with Haley Fioretti and Monica Sanchez from WQA, as we discuss how to get the most out of convention. We'll talk about planning ahead, the WQA app, which you can now download, pre-convention programming, and how to take advantage of all of the networking opportunities at convention. Plus, we'll have our WQA tip. Now on to getting the most out of convention on the WQA podcast. Now, we do have some pre-convention programming. As we mentioned, the show actually starts on March 5th, but the pre-show convention programming starts on March 4th. Jennifer, could you take us through boot camp and the WQRF symposium and the RO sizing workshop in case somebody who has registered might still want to take advantage of those?
Definitely. You know, I can tell you it's a little bit of extra money, but there is so much extra knowledge to pick up from the day before. As far as WQRF symposium, this will actually be my first year that I'm not going to the business boot camp, and because I wanted to go to the Water Quality Research Foundation Symposium. And they have some excellent topics this year. It's what the USGS knows about tap water in the US. They're also going to talk about the life cycle of PFAS. PFAS right now is such a big issue that everybody's talking about, especially in the news. And this is going to be excellent. They're doing a screening of a documentary called Sludge. You can also see that documentary. They're also holding a screening on Tuesday also that you can see that. And then just all different other things, water resilience, innovations to do with water. So there's a lot of things going on with that. Then also, and this is where the app comes in great, and Peter Cartwright is putting together, and a few more are putting together the, I'm sorry, I have WQRF pulled up. They have the Commercial Industrial RO Sizing Workshop. Peter Cartwright has this, and this is hands-on on how to properly size reverse osmosis for the industrial and commercial, and then also how to problem solve. So this is great. I've heard he's done this in the past, and I've heard excellent things about it. And then Business Boot Camp also is amazing. We have people that from our industry that are going to be speaking on different things, but we also have a gentleman named John Frost, I believe is what it is.
Phrase, like
okay,
like a sentence,
apologize.
only a phrase.
Yes, it's only there you go. And they're going to talk about effective communication, empathy skills, and so on, and mostly the drive for recruitment and retention. So this is more of like managers coming in. This is great or business owners. This is great for them to attend the business boot camp. And I'll tell you, I'm a little bummed I had to choose between the two and decided to go with the symposium.
Now we want to talk about the other kinds of education that's available to us. And Jennifer, if you want to take a stab at that as well, would you,
Certainly.
again, kind of take us through how one would really go through the schedule and pick out some of those sessions that might be most apropos.
So, what's awesome, you can either go on the website, the WQA.org website, or again, this app is, I was telling Haley earlier, I'm like, oh, the app came out yesterday, and it's almost like the Christmas catalog. You know, you get to choose your favorites and what you want to go and watch for education. But as far as education, we have business opportunity or business operations, business opportunities. So, again, this is for the managers, the owners, or even there are sessions for sales professionals and service technicians. So as far as business goes, so we have business operations. We also have introductory level as for the technical side of things. And this is something that is perfect for the first time person coming to visit because sometimes we get a little more advanced, which we do also offer. But if this is your first time coming, if you're just newer to the industry, there are wonderful things you can learn. And then we have topics that are across the board. Also, WQRF, the Water Quality Research Foundation, they also have different topics that they're offering, and which is always great to learn from the Water Quality Research Foundation.
All right, Haley, back to you. Would now be a good time to look at the website? Any pages there you want to highlight to kind of bolster what we just heard from Jennifer?
So here is the main page of the convention website, convention.wqa.org. And we will go ahead and go down here. Oh my gosh, the convention is 19 days away. We'll see you all in Orlando soon.
It is coming up fast.
It is. And just to reiterate, with your convention registration, the full convention registration, you have access to over 50 plus hours of education, 200 plus exhibitors on the show floor, 35 plus speakers. There will be over 3,000 attendees there, and 92% of them are decision makers. So this is a really great opportunity that you guys are taking advantage of. And to go more into depth about what you will be experiencing at the convention in Orlando, there's amazing networking opportunities, and we'll go ahead and click here to our networking page. Go down, you can learn a little bit more about networking opportunities. And here we go. So one of the biggest networking opportunities at the convention is the networking reception. This year, our theme is Let's Flamingle. Shout out to Lindsay on my team. I think she's watching here. She had a big part in planning this event. And it will be, hopefully everybody at the convention will go to this. It's going to be Wednesday, March 6th, 5 to 6:30 p.m., right at the Orange County Convention Center after the exposition closes that day. And you'll have the opportunity to talk with other folks there. There's going to be drinks and food and hopefully some furthering of some conversations you already had with exhibitors on the floor that day. Additionally, the expo itself is a great networking opportunity, and here are the opening hours on Wednesday and Thursday. And then another great opportunity for networking is the hub, which is outside in the foyer space of the OCC. And they also will be handing out water bottles on one of the days. So it's a great chance to just chat with other folks there who might be new attendees and any folks from Pentair as well. And then let's go back to the main page. And actually, before I move on, Jennifer or Jami are wonderful volunteers and longtime attendees of the convention. Do you have any advice on networking at the convention?
Go ahead, Jami. I see you unmuted.
My suggestion is just take advantage when it comes up. Some of the best conversations I've had with people are standing in the hallway. You see somebody getting a cup of coffee, you're getting a cup of coffee, you see where they're from, you just kind of strike up that conversation. We have made some huge connections, and other than this convention, nationally, we never would have met these people, and now they're part of our water tribe. So I just say, don't just look at these three. These are three great ones, but don't miss an opportunity in a hallway.
I completely agree. In the hallway, and then I think a lot of in the classes is really where I'll sit down and next to somebody. And honestly, when I sit down in classes, I sit down next to strangers. I don't usually sit next to the people I already know because I want to grow. I've been in this industry for 18 years. This is my 14th convention, I think. And I always find somebody new and somebody exciting. And I learn from so many of these people and have made great connections also.
Oh, that's great. And great, Jami, that you're on board now, and appreciate your joining us for the webinar today. I want to take a moment here and let's just imagine ourselves moving on into the convention expo hall for a moment. And as Haley mentioned, 200 plus exhibitors. It's going to be a jam-packed floor full of technology, products, solutions, all kinds of things. And I just want to ask you, how does one navigate? There you can see the trade show floor. Your thoughts, Jami, on just kind of making the most of your opportunity on the show floor.
So we usually do the floor multiple times throughout the time we have, and I never go to the right or left. I kind of shoot for a third and start there and just make sure that I have the time to see who's there. If someone's busy, I make a notation to myself to make sure on the map that I go back. And then, of course, it's almost like a reunion. You get to see your vendors, you get to see the new stuff coming out, and so just continuing to make those relationships. But I definitely say do not do the trade show floor once, at least twice while you're there. Get the most out of it.
Jennifer, anything to add?
What I noticed is when I do the trade show floor, I'll do it once in one direction, and then I'll do it again in the opposite direction because, sometimes you just see from a different perspective. Maybe there were a lot of people around a particular booth. And then when you come back the opposite way, either you might see different signage or that booth may be opened up at that time. So walk it at least once. And then I also recommend, so Wednesday is really kind of the big day that everybody goes. Thursday is a little bit quieter. So especially if you want to stop and see certain vendor or people that you want to talk to, definitely stop by on Thursday. Things are slower. And then I think that you get a little bit more of it out of it on Thursday.
Very good. And right in the middle of the show floor will be WQA Central. And I'm going to ask Monica to tell us a little bit about that. Monica?
So WQA Central is kind of the hub for WQA once the expo hall opens. The way the Central is set up is it has 4 corners. In those 4 corners is basically to answer any WQA questions you could possibly have. We have WQRF in one corner. We have our professional certification in one corner. We also have our product certification in the other corner. And last but certainly not least, we have our membership corner. So again, if you come up to Central and when you're in the expo hall and you have any WQA, anything that comes up WQA related and you need some help, feel free to visit us over on at Central and we'll get those answers for you.
Great. Yeah. And usually some comfy chairs in the area. You could stop by and maybe, rest up a little bit because, as we all know, you're on your feet for a very, very long time. I wanted to get back to the networking for a moment, folks, and ask about the ideas behind being the most effective networker that we can be. I realize there are some folks who are natural, right? It's just kind of and others like me, it takes a little bit more to have that conversation, to start that conversation. So I'm curious what your tips are, what your ideas are. Jami, let me start with you. How do you, and you're one of those naturals, but what do you do to kind of start the conversation or to get that networking going where you might not maybe feel like it's the easiest thing in the world?
So, Wes, it's funny that you say I'm a natural because it's totally not in my nature to be that outgoing. But WQA has had a huge impact in my professional career through the WIN mentoring program to give us different webinars so that we can learn and we can clearly look like we know what we're doing when we're there. But they have some great ones that I don't know if we can archive and people can look through those, but kind of your elevator speech is what a lot of people call it. How do you prepare that? How do you not sound like it's scripted? Definitely those conversation points that you can do to strike up the conversations in networking. So that is where I have really gotten a lot of my growth is from WQA. Sometimes it's trial or error. You just, maybe it's not somebody that you have so much in common with, but maybe they know somebody they can connect you to, versus the water quality that maybe you're in your area. So I can say WQA has definitely pushed me to where I'm much better at networking, and there are resources on the website for everybody to kind of refresh themselves before we meet in 19 days.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Yeah, I think Jami said it all. I think she did a great job. You know, again, it's just taking the time to talk and get to know each other, and maybe even if you don't learn from somebody, they may learn from you. So again, reach out. Whether you've been in the industry for quite a while, find that person that looks a little bit lost, and vice versa. If you're somebody that feels a little bit lost, go in and talk to somebody else that looks like they're a little more seasoned.
Yeah, and have those business cards handy, because not only are business cards effective at telling people who you are, but sometimes you can write down that extra bit of information about somebody that you learned in the conversation, or something else about yourself that you can then provide as you hand the business card over. So that's just another thought. The other one that I have benefited from is advice about people using other people's names in a conversation. So you just learned that this person standing next to you is Bob. Say Bob once in a while in the conversation to get that name cemented into your brain. And that'll go a long way toward helping you remember Bob, the next day when you happen to see him in the hallway. So that's just a tip that I have appreciated over the years. All right. And then again, that networking reception, as Haley pointed out, is going to be that first day of the trade show, right after the trade show. So you can basically finish up your visits with, with whoever you are speaking to, and then carry on the conversation right into the networking reception. And I don't know that we did enough to underscore the food. Oh my goodness. The food at these receptions cannot be beat. So I just want to, just letting you know, this is not, crackers and punch. All right. This is really good stuff. And I just want to make sure we get that across. All right. I know there's some strategies as well, Jami and Jennifer, about managing your what can we say? Your endurance. How do you keep going during the 3 days of the convention, possibly 4, if you're with us for the pre-convention shows?
Okay, so we're going to go with the standard. Make sure you eat a good breakfast and stop and have lunch, and stay hydrated. But I am going to tell you from experience, the first few years I wore heels. I know, do not wear heels. I either wear flats or I wear tennis shoes, because you are going to do a lot of walking. And I'm going to put in a little plug for the Water Quality Research Foundation. They have a something going on where you can download their app. Do you happen to have that? There you go, WQRF Walk for Water, $25 donation, and you can follow your steps and possibly win the contest. So, but anyways, you are walking so much. Wear comfortable shoes, comfortable clothing, and just bring your good attitude also. That's super important. I don't think I've seen any bad attitudes though. So, Jami, what are your thoughts?
No, usually a smile gets you a long way at this convention. Makes you feel better, and the people that you're approaching as well. So I agree with Jennifer. Definitely stay hydrated. We are in the water industry, so a lot of us neglect ourselves in that area. Take the opportunity when you go sit down and have a meal to unplug for a minute and be with the people that you're with. I think that's a huge thing. Is not always, whether we're business owners or on staff, it's taken the time that we have to be with the people that we're with and to just unplug and put your phone down for 30 minutes. I think that's a huge thing that gets me through, is taking that technology break.
You brought up a good point with the lunch. That is another excellent area for networking. Sitting down at the tables, whether it's lunch or there's a little area. And I personally know of a company, they were a plumbing company considering coming into the water treatment industry. They sat down and they spoke to, just happened to start conversation with somebody who's been in the industry for over 30 years. And he was able to take them, make introductions to who they needed to talk to for different suppliers. And, they thought that was wonderful, that somebody that's in the industry for 30 years is going to take that time and show them around. And they now have a very successful water treatment business. So that is definitely make those connections.
And our WQA tip, a reminder again about the pre-convention programs, the WQRF Symposium, the WQA Business Bootcamp, and the RO Sizing Workshop, all taking place Monday, March 4th. Separate registration is required, but you can do it as you register for convention. So either way, if you haven't signed up for convention, or if you have, you can add those programs to your registration. Go to wqa.org/convention to learn more and get registered if you haven't yet, or add those programs if you need to. And do it today. And thanks for joining us for this episode of the WQA Podcast from the Water Quality Association, the leading voice of the water treatment industry. Learn more about WQA professional certification, product certification, and how you can become a member at WQA.org. This is Wes Bleed. So long from the Water Quality Association.